Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, isn't it enough to take a product, to have a product for the customer, to have it appealing, to have it with a good quality at a reasonable price? The answer is no. Because at the end of the day, what you get out of this is satisfied customers. How do you measure whether these satisfied customers are really loyal to you or whether they'll keep coming back to you as loyal customers? Satisfied customers and loyal customers are two different kinds of customers that we've also spoken about in my last videos. But how do we make sure that every satisfied customer is a loyal customer of our organization? That's something which is very, very important. Here are some few tips which I would recommend to measure your customer satisfaction rate, to understand or to make a difference, to make them your loyal customers forever. Understanding your customer is most important, as I keep saying this, but how do you turn your satisfied customers into loyal customers? Make them feel special. That's the most important thing. Now, this is something also which can turn a customer service into customer delight. Now, when you say make them special, is keeping an account of your customers' each and every necessity and giving them something extra, like an extra frisbee package, which would help them to be satisfied at the end of the day and more than satisfaction level. That's when we say that customers are delighted. Now, that's how we create a wow factor. Now, to give you an example, that you've given a service to your customer and then you give him a lift or a drop up till the customer's home. If the customer is a little aged or an old person, he would appreciate that, and that would be sometimes where the customer would never go back to any other competitor. Now, that's where the customer would show 100% loyalty towards you and your organization, because that's something that he's loved. That's something he can never forget. We can create an environment which a customer never ever forgets in his life. He would always say, I went to this particular place and that's amazing, and that's what keeps him coming back to that place. In return, what you get is a high profit of the company, and what you've spent is hardly anything. So say you spent just a few amount of rupees extra over and above the service to drop that customer home, maybe a taxi bill or a drop facility, but what you earn is a lot of profit in future, because that customer keeps giving you a lot of services, keeps giving you referrals, and I don't need to tell you what all. There are a lot of things possible. So make your customer happy, make your customer feel extremely special. That's the first and the foremost step of understanding every customer's expectations towards an organization. Providing a familiar experience. Now, many customers like to come to only one face when they come to any organization. I am one of the customers where I go to a place and I always ask for that one person whom I've always seen or spoken to, because I feel comfortable. If you're familiar with some faces, as a person, definitely would like to get back to those faces, because they have made you feel the most satisfied and relaxed whenever you've gone to that organization. That's one thing which I always say, that familiarity is something which makes you feel at home. Every customer should feel like a guest when he comes to an organization, and the guest kind of feeling can only come when they are treated at home. And they would like to see people or faces who are familiar. Now, that's something where every internal customer should remember, every employee should remember that this is the customer that I treated last time. And if that approach of going back to those customer again and saying a greeting or welcoming with a very warm welcoming approach, they would really be satisfied. Everyone have the habit of getting back to our same houses. Do we go to anyone else's houses and stay overnight? Sometimes, yes, for parties, but what about every day? We would definitely like to come to our home sweet home back. That's because we're familiar with it. Imagine a customer who feels familiar with an organization and feels at home when they're talking to a person, feels like a family member. Amazing. What satisfaction rate you would give more than that? It's all about after service. When a customer comes into your organization, you make him you understand his requirement, make him feel so much comfortable in the organization, see to it that all the requirements are satisfied, and then you send him home very happily. But what about the after service, after the customer's gone home? Now, here is something where the customer's delight is what you can affect the most. There's a lot of impact when you call a customer once he reaches home to see that whether he's used the product and whether he's liked your service, how take the feedbacks from the customer. To give you an example, if a customer has taken a medicines for his skin treatment, and you can call the customer after a week to understand how the customer is doing. Is he doing well? Is he enjoying his skin pattern? Is there made a difference? Is it effective? Would he like to come back again? When would you place his next appointment? That is something which is a customer delight. That's the after service magic. And the companies, the organization who are great at doing the after services are amazing follow-up givers, and that's where the customer satisfaction turns into loyal customers. Now imagine if a customer is called after every 10 day of the service or every 1 week after service as per the requirement. The customer would feel so happy that, oh, they're not only taken care when I was in, they've also taken care when I'm at my home. Just think about an idea of a customer coming to you. The customer goes home back. You lay out a manual or you lay out an article to the customer of how he can improve on what he's done, like an extra tip, along with taking your products and services. And imagine every time he reads your manual or every time he reads that article, he remembers about you, that what you've done a difference to his life. That's something where the customer would really, really get back to you, and that customer would turn into a loyal customer. So understanding your customer, understanding the best framework of his mindset, understanding how better you can get, having always a feedback towards your customer or a gesture of taking the customer well or taking care of, a very welcoming and a happy approach of welcoming a customer like a guest. Now these all things would add up to your measures to continuously prove yourself into a better customer service organization. Friends, the other way of measuring your customer satisfaction level is also to commit wholeheartedly. Now when I say commit wholeheartedly, many a times the customer comes in and you commit that you'll give a call to the customer because right now the appointments are not available. So you'll give a call back to the customer after 2 days and see to it that he's accommodated in the appointment list. And we forget because we've not set a reminder after 2 days to call that particular customer. And we are definitely working very hard. We are stressed in whatever we do. We handle 100 customers each day. Now at this point of time where our strategy should have been to get back to each and every customer on time, to get back to the maximum service after service quality, here is something that we've lacked on is we've not committed wholeheartedly to the customer and we've not reached up to the commitment levels. There has to be a strategy in every organization of a very strong follow-up. Friends, follow-up is the most important because we shouldn't as an organization or as employees be very happy of customers coming in, doing some purchase at that given point of time and going away. That's very normal and natural. But what about your customer retention? Are they getting back to you? Is something to be measured. That's something very important. And without that measurement, you cannot measure how much have you scored on your customer satisfaction rate. Your customer satisfaction rate completely depends on your retention and completely depends on the customer delight for the retention. Now, being a part of customer service training organizations, I would also understand that the lack of training at a given point of time would be lack of follow-ups done for the customer. Friends, you will not believe the customer service team is only set for taking feedbacks, doing the follow-ups, seeing to it that the customer is retained to a company back, and seeing to it he sustains for a very long time. That's what you really mean by customer satisfaction. That's what you really mean by customer service. It's not about a customer coming in, taking the service, taking your product, purchasing and going back. That's not really what we mean by customer service. The after service is the most important factor to understand whether you've wholeheartedly committed to that customer. There are a lot of models which are set up, especially the Kano model, which helps us to understand the customer satisfaction retention rate. Now, why are these models in place? We will definitely be talking in detail about these models. I'll also help you out to understand how they run. Why are all these models and these kinds of formats and strategies in place? They are there because we need to understand how best can we get at a customer satisfaction rate and retention rate. So friends, to help us understand, get better, to help us improve ourselves better every day, These are some strategies which are set strategies and standard strategies which we just have to take and follow, and that's how the things can be done and processed. Friends, there are a lot of corporates that I go and I see something very surprising and very nice and good surprise is where a customer satisfaction rate or a window is definitely sure to be there. But individual customer satisfaction rate or individual customer satisfaction scoreboard is something which is very, very unknown to a lot of organizations. It's very important as an individual, what do you do? Because everything starts from an individual. So as an individual customer service agent, how do you score yourself, or how do your customers score you at your customer service skills is something which adds on to the entire organization's satisfaction rate. So every customer would be free to give opinions on each customer service agent rather than the entire product servicing or anything extra. Of course, that's there, that follows. And as a person, you can score yourself each time you meet a customer on how well have you treated that customer. So you give a score to yourself. That's amazing. So suppose if today I meet 10 customers and I feel that out of those 10, 3 interactions were amazing, I would rate myself 5, the maximum. And 2 were okay, so I would rate myself maybe 3.5, 4. And maybe the other ones were not that great. And this doesn't really depend on the purchase of the customer that has been done. It depends on how well could you connect. It depends on whether the customer has taken an appointment. It depends on whether the customer feels like coming back. Because every customer doesn't really step in for a purchase. They might step in for a follow-up. They might step in for just an inquiry or an information. But what impact have you made on them at the end of the day is something that is committed. And this is what I call commit wholeheartedly. This also helps us to measure the level of customer satisfaction. Measures to achieve customer satisfaction is also measuring success. So when we talk about measuring success, there are a lot of organizations that I see that have these CSAT scores to be followed very strongly. Now, CSAT is something where it reports measures on your customer satisfaction rate in various ways. So it's not only your customer satisfaction rate, it's also rating of the customer on your service, on your product. It's also rating the retention. It's also retaining the sustainability. It's also retaining each and every success measure that you need to have. CSAT scores help us to understand each and every parameter of getting better and better every day towards reaching to our commitment towards that customer. It also helps us to understanding what is the problem-solving solution over all the issues that the customer faces. So it's also a problem-solving as barometer or a problem-solving rate card. So every customer not necessarily comes with an issue or a problem. It comes with an inquiry as well. So all put together, customer satisfaction CSAT scores is something which helps you to get out of all your unknown parameters and get to focus on improving betterment each and every day. Every customer's requirement is different. Every customer's ask is different. Needs are different. And how do you help him to get through his best satisfaction level is what a CSAT score helps you to do. So not to be shocked when many organizations do their level best, get their heads off to understand and do whatever they can to take the satisfaction score up to 100. But it's very sad at times when the scores come to 65 and 70. They feel that, oh, there was something lacking. So friends, all the tips if followed of how to get into customer service, right from the external, internal customers and all of that, I'm sure by following all of this, taking the right measures would help you to reach up to the customer satisfaction level at least. I would say customer satisfaction level is at least kind of a level, because after which is retention, after which is sustainability, after which is delight. So it's very important, friends, to understand that your satisfaction ratio is what. Because based on that, we could understand how much will be the sustainability of that particular customer to become a loyal customer of your organization. Customer loyalty is tougher than customer satisfaction. I would rate it or say it this way. Because customer satisfaction is something which we feel one day or that day when the customer steps in. But loyalty is measured by the customer's retention and by the customer's footsteps back to your organization, and that completely depends on your attitude of treating the customer in the right way. If you've not been or not given your best service, or you've not done a follow-up, then the customer definitely cannot come back to you, or you cannot retain the services. At the same time, you cannot even have a delightful feeling about the customer being around you. So for me, customers' loyalty is more tougher than customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction, I would say, is the first step of improvement, but customer loyalty is something which is proven that you've improved in all your customer servicing skills, because that makes your customer come back to you whenever you call the customer, or whenever customer feel the need of getting back to you. Now, there is also a very positive sign of customer coming back to you is customers doesn't go anywhere else. So your competitors are someone who are not there around you if you give them 100% customer satisfaction, and your rate of retention would go higher. And once the rate of retention is higher, sustainability is definitely bound to happen. That's how you create loyal customers. So friends, this was all about measuring of how to achieve your customer satisfaction goal, is by creating all these factors, making them work live into your organization, into personally yourself. I hope that once you follow this, once you understand this and make it practically into practice, you will be able to measure your customer satisfaction ratio, and it would be 100%. So I wish you all the best to take this ahead, move it ahead and take it forward, bring it into practice rather than just thinking over it. Start it today, right now, and get 100% customer satisfaction ratio. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please stay tuned to Ekeeda and keep subscribing to our channel. Thank you.